can't be embarrassed to show your tits if you're gonna be an actress. Hi, welcome to In My Zone. I'm Patricia Tone with another episode of A Day in the Life of a 50-plus unemployed filmmaker. You know, it's hard to get an agent in this town, right? And so I had been doing background work, and I had gotten my headshots done. I created a resume, and some kind of way I found out through the other black actresses on set that there were two black agencies that were real known, and that was Shirley Wilson Agency on Wilshire, and she started a lot of these actresses you see now, and they didn't give her any respect. That's another story. But Shirley Wilson had an agency on Wilshire, and Jim Bridges had an agency in Hollywood area, and that's Todd Bridges' father. Yes, Todd Bridges from Different Strokes. And so I sent him my photo, and he called me in. I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, I'm about to get me an agent. I go down there, and the first thing, I kid you not, the first thing he says to me after the introduction is, okay, take your shirt off. I said, excuse me, take your shirt off. You can't be embarrassed to show your tits if you're gonna be an actress. I said, I might not be embarrassed to show my tits if I get a role, but it ain't no role right here at your desk. This is for free. Why do I need to show my tits to you? And baby, he was so mad. I was like, no, that's not how it goes. I said, you don't get no candy before I get a check. I said, is it a check in this room for me to show my tits? And he was like, no. I said, then there ain't no need for me to show my tits right now. You know, so I got up and left because I didn't like the fact it was the way he did it. His presentation was horrible. He had no class about it. And I was just really, frankly, pissed off. You know, it's like, really, dude, this how you talk to people? Because I had just come fresh out of Houston, Texas. We respect people. You know, back in them days, I came out here in last month of '88, you know, and I probably was in his office early '89, maybe '90. Because it probably took me a while to get started or even thinking about doing any type of acting. And for a man, when you walk in, to tell you to take your shirt off, I'm like, who you think you talking to? I don't care who your son is. I don't care who you think you are, you know. So needless to say, I didn't get him as an agent. But I eventually went over to Shirley Wilson's agency, and she had all the top black female actresses who were just starting out. She was the one who started submitting them and getting them roles, and the majority of them people owe her money. They never did pay their 10% to Shirley Wilson. She was up there in this small office. They were disrespectful to her because, as most people do, they look down their noses at you if you got a small office, and her office looked like a closet, but she was in there trying to help people with their careers, and none of them, from what I understand, not all, a lot of them never gave her the 10%, never showed her any respect, and, you know, really used to talk about her because she was a tall, dark-skinned woman. She had she wore the eyelashes and the wigs, and you know, back then everything was big, so everything about her was big, and she was tall, but she was the nicest person on earth, the nicest person you could meet. And you know, I actually ended up being an intern for her. You know, I went in, I saw all the files and pictures. I was like, Shirley, you need some help, don't you? I said, look, I'm old school. I'll come in here and help you because I see you trying to obtain a goal. I see a black woman trying to get her business going and to be, you know, relevant and prominent and get her name out there to the studios. And so she had this guy, I think he was a relative. He was her assistant as well. But, you know, I went up there and volunteered, and sometimes I would go drop off pictures to the studios for her. And I figured out how to get a pass. I had a pass to almost every studios. And I would go in there and go to the casting department and say I had a drop off. They would let me in. I would go and drop off the pictures to the casting people. The people at the gate, everybody knew me. Y'all don't understand how I used to get around. Them damn people at the gate knew me. They would see my car. I think at that time I had a Datsun, you know, and I would roll up in there. I had so many cars, I don't even remember all of them, but they knew my face. Everybody knew my face, and I would roll up in there and they would wave, security. Nobody messed with me. Sometimes I would walk down the halls and walk up and in and out of the studios and see people from time to time, and I'd be like, hey, you know, I used to get around, baby. I used to get around. And so that's my story of almost getting an agent. But I want to add something. Okay, so after that, right, I would take my picture and put it in the manila envelope. That's what everybody put them in. I would go to different casting companies and try to give them my picture. And I remember one time, I went to Robert Reed's office. You know, I slid my picture under her door. I found out her address, slid my picture under her door. And Robert Reed, to this day, I still love this woman. She will never, ever remember this or me. But I slid my picture under the door. I'm going to show you a picture of it. And she called me in for an audition. And y'all not going to believe the movie she called me in for. Set It Off. I was like, oh my God. And so I get there, I go in, and everybody in there, baby. Everybody in there. I saw Vivica Fox. I saw everybody who's reading for them lead parts, and them, you know, everybody who was well known back then. A lot of them was already sitting in there, and I go in there, and they give me the sides, and I was like, what is this? And I remember being disappointed because, first of all, I didn't know the script. So the part she had me read for was Queen Latifah's girlfriend in the movie. And so in my head, I was like, I ain't doing this, you know, because that's not what I submitted for. So it kind of caught me off guard. I didn't expect it to be that, right? And when I read the script, it mentioned the relationship with Queen Latifah. And I wasn't that type of actress. You know, I'm not that type of actress and that would play that kind of role, you know. And so I was a little taken aback about it, but I was also amazed that my tactic had worked, right? Me slide my picture under her door, even getting in the room with all those famous people who had already been on TV and everything. I was still proud of myself. And so I didn't do a good job in the role, you know. um, in the audition. I mean, I didn't do a good job in the audition, so I knew I wasn't going to get the role because that wasn't the role I would play, you know. And not to diss anybody else who played it, but you see, they had a better actress to play it. That girl was pure fire, you know. And now, after I saw the movie, I realized why she asked me in for an audition. And then I became, I looked at it as a compliment because I was thin in shape. I had that little bob, short haircut. I was sexy. And so then I was like, oh, okay, I see why she called me in for this role, because I fit that typecast that they were looking for their role. So yeah, I understood it. And then that taught me a lot about casting. Okay. That started me researching about casting and about how casting directors might see something in a person and see this in a person or not see this in a person. And there's more than one reason. Let me tell y'all something. There's more than one reason why a person gets a role. And I had to learn that even in film school. You know, once you get a role and you have somebody in mind, that person might not work out, or that person might not be available, and then you have to go on to the next person. And so that's really what I learned when it comes to casting. It's really not 100% all the time gonna work out the way the filmmaker or the producer thinks it's going to work out. Okay. And so when we watch these movies, and still me, I have to be careful because I have to remember that myself in watching these movies and doing my movie reviews on my channel, that this might not have been their first choice or their second choice, and they needed to get that project done. So anyway, that's my story on talent agencies and casting and all that good stuff. Thank you for watching. Please hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, leave a like, share the video, all that good stuff. And thank you for watching In My Zone, a day in the life of a 50 plus unemployed filmmaker. See you next time.